guys, SimCoder here, and today we're going to advance on our TINDER series, and we are going to start working on displaying the matches that we have. So for this lesson we'll only go over how to make the layout and take care of everything, and in the next one we are going to actually learn how we can get the information from the database and show it. So we are going to use a RecyclerView for this. I'm going to grab this, our project, and we are going to use a RecyclerView as I've said, but first of all let's create the button to take us to an activity where we display everything. So another button, and it will be the middle one, so matches. Go to matches, and let's create this activity here. And just copy and paste the same from settings, but now we are going to create the activity and then change the settings activity name. So yeah, new activity, basic activity. So we'll give it the name of matches activity. Yeah, that works. Let's just oh, I'm using a basic. No, I want an empty activity. I'm sorry about that. So again, let's go inside here, empty activity, and matches activity. Okay. And before advancing, I'm actually going to create folders here so that it is easier for you to follow up with everything. So I'm going to create a folder for the cards, where I'm going to move and it is a bit slow, let's just wait for it to move to cards. Okay, you gotta do it this way. Yeah, that's interesting. Before the update you could actually drag and drop, so let's do it this way. Cards, okay, refractor, and you don't need to change anything because when you do a refractor, it automatically goes through every document of the project and changes it. So I just wanted to get the cards out of the way, and now let's go ahead and open a new package, and this time it is the matches package. So matches, and I'm going to again move this to inside that, and I'm not going to bother with you with this anymore, but I'll make it so that yeah, you can do it on your own. This isn't necessary. So moving on from that, because that's not important. Now going to main activity and actually change the settings activity to matches activity. And now we can forget about the main activity, it isn't important anymore. So in the matches layout, we are going to change the constraint layout to a linear layout. And it doesn't need to have an orientation because it won't have anything, multiple child, I mean. So the first thing we need is a nested scroll bar view, which is always important to have when you are dealing with a RecyclerView. And in the case you don't know what a RecyclerView is, it is just an object that allow us to make multiple layouts that are basically the same when it comes to form, but are significantly different in the aspects of everything else. Let me just check one thing, because I don't believe we have what we need right now, but we do. That's strange. Okay, so the problem is that we didn't have the design dependency here, so make sure you add it and sync the Gradle. I just paused the recording for a bit and check that out, and yeah. So after you do that, we are able to add the RecyclerView, and it should appear here. And yeah, so yeah, the that problem is fixed. So let's say match parents in the width, wrap contents, height, and then we must set an ID of RecyclerView and set the scroll bars to vertical, and that's all good. So yeah, we can move on from this and go inside the matches activity. Activity main we don't need anymore. Settings activity we don't need. It's okay, just checking everything that we do need right now. And okay, so first of all, let's just pass the object onto this and just call RecyclerView, my RecyclerView. Just do the find view ID really quick, and then we can move on to everything else. So RecyclerView, find view by ID r.id.recyclerView. Okay, let's just set some parameters to the RecyclerView at this moment. So RecyclerView.set nested scrolling enable, and we'll set that to false, and this will allow us to scroll freely through the RecyclerView with no hiccups, and it will be really smooth. And we are going to set has fixed size to true. Okay, so now we must start working on the objects and class and everything that comes along with the RecyclerView. I'm going to again, I have the matches, so I don't need it. We are going to create several Java classes, and the first of which will be the object. The object, and it will be really similar to the one we did, not history matches, the one we did with the cards, and I'm going to actually open that up to show you. And as you can see, it will be the same, because we are going to create an object that will contain all the information that we need for the matches, and because of that it will be just the same. And I'm actually going to copy the first things so that you can have something. Okay, so for now I'm only going to pass an user ID, because my goal is to only get the RecyclerView to create. And yeah, so make sure you change that, and there we go. That's the matches that we need, and this user ID will be the opposite user that we want. So the matches that we got will appear here, and those users will have will be displayed in the RecyclerView, and there we will have the information of the user ID, so that when we click it, it can actually go either to the profile of the user or to chat with the user. So yeah. Next up, we'll need something that's different from what we did with the cards, and it will be the matches view holders. And now it's a good time to actually create. Oops, I made a mistake there. Let me just refactor it. Rename, because I have a capital A where it shouldn't be. Okay. So I'm going to stop here and go ahead and create the layout of each and every single item of the RecyclerView. And let's say matches item.xml. Let's say item matches, actually, just so that we separate things a little better. Item matches, okay. and in here we are going to change it to linear layouts, orientation set to horizontal. I'm going to make linear layouts, okay, an image view with 100 SP, and set the source to map IC1, sure, okay, it doesn't need to be pretty. Let's set it to 50 actually. 50 no, it's too small, so 75 maybe. Okay, 75 is a good one. And let's set the margins, not margin, padding to what, 10 SP maybe? Even 20. Okay, it can be 20. And now let's set the text view that I'm going to set it to the ID so that we can more easily work with the project, but you can then change it to wherever you want, because I'm going to show you how to do that. So text will be matches ID. You don't need to set the text, but it's just to see how it looks inside here. Gravity center, okay, and it shows here, but it will collapse in itself, and it will appear here. It should do that. So yeah, and let's set the ID to ID match ID. Okay, so now we can go ahead and go into our view holders. And in the view holders, we'll actually call every single ID that we have inside the item matches, okay? So then we can actually populate it with the information that we need. So for that, we say extends RecyclerView dot view holder and implements view on click listener, and we'll use this on click listener because it is from here, from this function, that we do the on click, and so go on to the, as I said, the chat or the profile from of the user. So public text view and match ID. And now it is basically the same, but with a few different. So the first thing that we need to do is to set an on-click listener, and it will be this, so that it knows that this method here is set to be the on-click listener for every item view. Now we'll do the find view by ID with one small difference. So instead of just saying find view by ID, we say item view dot find view by ID, and now it is the same. So r dot, and we must import this class dot ID. What did we call it? Match ID. Okay, match ID, and there we go. So now we can move on to the fun part, which is the adapter. And again, it is quite similar to the array adapter that we made for the cards, with one small difference. So small, that's actually a big one, but yeah, you get the point. So we create the matches, not view holders, adapter. Okay. And this is the function that takes care of populating each and every single item matches.xml with the information that we want for that specific layout. So the first thing we do is extend RecyclerView.adapter history, not history, matches view holders and implements nothing. Actually, I was making a mistake there. We don't need to implement nothing. We just need to implement these methods, and to do that you simply go here and click Alt Enter and implement methods, and you're golden. So now we'll need a couple of variables, and the first one being the object, so that we know exactly where to get things that we need. So list matches object, and you say matches list, and this matches list will contain the information that we passed on through here, so the user ID and later on the image, the name, everything. So let's import this. You'll need the context of the view. It is really important. Context, which we'll get this information in a second, and that's all. So now we can move on to this method right here, or not. No, we actually need one more that it doesn't create on its own, which is the one that actually populates, passes the information between the matches activity inside to the matches adapter, and that way we can actually get the item list that the matches list that we want. So yeah, we simply say matches adapter and set it to public. It is really important, otherwise the matches activity won't be able to get it. And say list matches objects matches list context, and now we say this dot matches list equals to matches list, and these matches lists are different. So this matches list, the second one, is the one that we pass from the main activity, which we'll set in a moment, and this matches list is this one, so the one we'll actually use in this activity, in this class. So don't get those two changed, and the context is the same. Okay, now we can actually move on to the matches view holders on create view holder, and this is the part that controls the layout. So view layout view, and let's import the view class, equals to layout inflator dot from parents dot get context, and this is always the same, so be mindful of that, so you'll be able to use it in whatever project you do when you are using a RecyclerView. And now we say layouts, not this one, inflate r dot layout dot item matches. I believe we must import this class, and why isn't it layouts item matches? Here we go, and we must set a few parameters to null and false, and there we go. So you can move on from that, and now set the parameters, and this is just to make sure that everything fits nicely, because I've had problems with that, and this is the fix that I found. So layout params lp equals to new RecyclerView layout params view group match parent and view group match parent. Okay, so layouts, and now we are going to pass these layout params inside the layout view, and this will just make sure that everything will work just as we need. As I said, set layout params lp And finally, RecyclerView recycler. No, I'm sorry. Matches view holders RCV equals to new matches view holders layout view, and we pass this RCV in the return as a return value, and we are set and done with. And now we move on to the final part, which is the onBind view holders, and this is the one that takes care of the populating the layout that we pass in here. So, and we to get the one that we have, and let me just make a point here. So as you can notice, we have a position here and a holder. So the holder is the one that is basically this layout here. It's everything. It contains everything that has to do with that specific object. And then the position is the position in which that object, that layout, item matches in this case, is within the recycler view. So now we set holder.mMatchID, which is a text view that contains the ID, dot set text to matches list dot get position, and this will give us exactly what we need. And you get user ID. This will set the text that we need. Let me just say it is boolean. How is that boolean? Set all cut, not set all cut, sorry, it's set text. Okay, now it should be good. So it will find, it will be called upon the creation. So when you scroll a recycler view, those views that are not inside your screen are destroyed. So if they are above or below the screen, they are destroyed. And at the moment of creation, they are sent here. And we are able to get the position of that view that's being created at that moment. And because of that, we are able to get the position of the user that we want to show, and that's exactly what we did in the matches object. So now all that's left is to actually put it all together in the matches activity. So first things first, we are going to first of all set a linear layout manager. So we must create a new variable, and actually we are going to create two just to get it over and done with. So the first one is actually going to be the adapter. So mmatches adapter, which will point to this adapter here, and then private RecyclerView layout manager, which is the thing that I was just talking about. So matches layout manager. Okay, so now we are going to set a layout manager. So new layout manager, linear layout manager actually, and set it to matches activity.this. After that, we are going to pass this layout manager to the RecyclerView, and matches mRecyclerView actually dot set layout manager mmatches layout manager. Okay, so after that we are going to start working on the adapter. So mmatches adapter, and this may seem like a lot, but it is always the same as I've said, so don't worry about this. It is always copy and paste. So yeah, new matches adapter get data set matches, and this is a function that we are going to create in a second. And now we pass this activity, so matches activity dot this. And before we create the get dataset matches, we are going to set the adapter to the RecyclerView. And RecyclerView dot set adapter and matches adapter. All right. And now let's go ahead and create this and matches adapter. The get dataset matches. There's an error there. Okay, now it's all right. And all that this is going to do is to return the results request matches. I'm always saying requests, I don't know why. And these requests will be the list that we'll create up top. So in here we are going to create a variable to type array list, and it will be again matches object. So this array list will contain the matches object. Isn't it? Oh, is it misspelled? Okay, and we'll initiate it with array list matches object. Okay, and the variable is called result matches. So I believe that's all said and done. Now I'm just going to show you how you can add items to the RecyclerView, and it is basically the same as the cards. So for that you only need to say first of all create an object of the type matches object. So matches object equals to new matches object, and because we must pass right now we only need to pass this user ID, so I'm going to say AST, it doesn't really matter, and then we say results matches dot add object, and finally, and it's really important that you don't forget this, and here it is object okay. It is really important that after you add something you say matches adapter dot notify dataset change, so that the RecyclerView can start again and look for to the things that changed. And yeah, it is just showing an error here because I'm missing what? Oh, that's right, I must have parentheses here. Okay, don't forget those. Let's actually add like 4, just so that you can see that it will create 4 items, matches, inside the RecyclerView. So let's run it and see if everything checks out. Okay, so before we begin, let me just show you something that I changed. I made a 4 so that you can see multiple layouts, multiple cards showed with different texts. So that's all this does, is adding just the same. And one more thing that I've changed is that in here it is wrap content and not match parent. So yeah, I have the app right here. Let's open it up and go into matches, and as you can see everything is here and you can scroll freely. Okay, and if you wanted to get the click you could using the view holder as I said, but we'll get to it in the next lesson. So for today it is all. Thank you all very much for watching. Please do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. So ciao.